How does that song go? Well, the waiting is the hardest part. And a lot of us are waiting right now. We're waiting for April 2nd to come and reveal the Nintendo Switch 2 in its full on glory. So we can learn about things like games, things like the price point of the system, things like the release date of the system. And there's a lot that I'm looking forward to with the Nintendo Switch 2, but we're actually going to save that for tomorrow's video. There are quite a few things I want to say about the importance of this system and really the most important thing about it, but that needs a full dedicated video, not just a small portion in this video, because this video kind of is focusing on something a little bit different, and that's something that could be potentially used with Nintendo Switch Online on the Nintendo Switch 2, because let's be realistic. Nintendo Switch Online, like, it works. You know, it functions, but it doesn't seem like there is a flat out sort of way that Nintendo handles online multiplayer in their first party games. It's kind of a wild, wild west situation where different developers can do different things, such as have native voice chat, whereas Nintendo first party games don't have that. You got to use that stupid phone app. But are things potentially changing? Because a new patent has been revealed, and I think this might be a sign that things are changing, because if things are structured the way they are with Nintendo Switch 1 games, I don't think that this feature would actually work in the way that Nintendo is intending it. However, if there is a more broad spectrum sort of Nintendo Switch Online with the Nintendo Switch 2, this is something that I think could be potentially very cool. So we're going to talk about kind of the ins and outs about it, and then some of my concerns about it as well. So let's go ahead and take a look at the patent itself to see what the hell I'm talking about. Now, shout outs to Hylian Hero over on Twitter for finding this. This was applied for on November 8th, 2024, and the publication of the patent was on 2/20/2025. So it is indeed a newer patent. And I know when it comes to Nintendo patents, there's usually lots of questions because companies patent stuff all the time and then they don't necessarily utilize it. When I start to see like graphics and things being made for the patent, I get a little bit more interested, because you got to remember, when it came to The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, we learned a lot about the gameplay leading up to the big reveal of that game from the patents. Like, all of the things that we talked about in the patents that looked like they were going to be for Tears of the Kingdom ended up being in Tears of the Kingdom. So I'm not saying that this is a foregone conclusion for something like that, but the Tears of the Kingdom things did have these little crude drawings that are very similar to what we are seeing here. So in this image, you see computer readable non-transitory storage medium having game programs stored there within, game apparatus, game system, and game processing method. That's a nice title. But when you look at this image here, you see a little person here, you see a little block of wood here, you see some trees. Like, hey, Switch 2 graphics, bro. They're popping off the screen. But what is this indicative of? When a first condition related to a change in a position of a virtual microphone in a virtual space is satisfied, a residual virtual microphone is placed at a position of the virtual microphone before the change in position. And residual virtual microphone acquisition sound data whose volume is set on the basis of a difference between the residual virtual microphone and a virtual sound source and current virtual microphone acquisition sound whose volume is set on the basis of a distance between the virtual microphone after the change in position and the virtual sound source are outputted to a speaker such that an output level of the residual virtual microphone acquisition sound data is gradually decreased and an output level of the current virtual microphone acquisition sound data is gradually increased. And folks, you got to give me a like on this video for being able to read that with only one little hesitation. Punctuation, Nintendo, a period, a comma, semicolon, something would be nice there. So I said a lot of things to say. This is essentially proximity chat. Now, proximity chat is a very interesting feature because I think in some games it's kind of pointless, but in some games it can be kind of unique. Now, the kind of pointless ones are games like Call of Duty. Like you can do the whole hostage thing now where you grab someone and you can like whisper into their ear and stuff like that. Like it's kind of cool. There's a novelty to it, but execution wise, like it does leave a bit to be desired because it's kind of just a one and done moment. And lots of people are using party chat and not even using the in game voice chat when it comes to things like Call of Duty. But a game that I can think of proximity chat working very, very well in was Friday the 13th. One of my favorite games of all time, and a game that I, given the chance, will always talk about in a positive manner. But Friday the 13th was very interesting because the prox chat was used on the survivors and on Jason himself. So if you're near a survivor, you could talk with that survivor. But if a survivor is on the other side of the map, you can't talk with them. Now, of course, you can use party chat to sort of circumvent that, but that kind of ruins the fun of the game. Like, that was a very cool feature. And then when Jason shows up, you could be like, ah, surprise, bitch, I'm here to kill you. And it really led to some awesome moments with that game. And considering that the game had native voice chat on the Nintendo Switch, I mean, it was very easy to do. Play it in handheld mode, throw in a headphone jack or a headphone into the headphone jack, and like you were having a great time. I have so many fond memories of playing that game. So I think proximity voice chat being utilized in first party Nintendo games could be a potentially good thing. But then we kind of bring up the questioning aspect of it, because like I said, how would you be able to do this with the current setup that you have with Nintendo Switch Online, having to use the voice chat application? Like, I guess you kind of could, but the beauty about proximity voice chat would be that everyone playing the game would be able to use the proximity voice chat. And I know that kind of goes against what current Nintendo thinks about things, but I mean, we have had native voice chat in games before done by Nintendo. Metroid Prime Hunters on the Nintendo DS had voice chat in it, and you could talk to people and stuff like that. So I am curious to see like how this would be fully realized and fully utilized by Nintendo, because obviously they're not going to make another Friday. They're not going to make a Friday the 13th game. They're not going to make a real horror game. They're going to give you MEO and tell you to go on your way. Although I probably shouldn't dog MEO because I've been playing Jake Hunter on the Nintendo 3DS and really enjoying it. And I actually kind of low-key enjoy games like that. I just didn't really resonate with the demo for MEO. I don't know. Maybe I'll give it a second chance. But, like, how would Nintendo utilize this? Would they just utilize it to where you have to use the voice chat application on your Nintendo Switch 2? Obviously, this isn't going to be for any Switch 1 game, so it is primarily focused on the Switch 2. But I'm hopeful that this means that there's a bit more of a native system. Not needing to use a phone, not needing to use any of that BS, just something built in to where Nintendo actually utilizes it and makes it easy to chat with your friends instead of having to use outside applications and outside, cell phones and stuff like that, not having to use Discord to talk to your friends. Make things simplified, and things like this kind of lead me to believe that maybe they'll do something like that. I'm not saying it's 100% a foregone conclusion, but it is interesting the timing of this patent. It is interesting to see this kind of come out before we learn about the Nintendo Switch 2, because really that's something else we're going to learn about the system is the online going to be any different? And I'm very hopeful that it is. However, that's still not the number one thing that I want with the Nintendo Switch 2. Like I said, that's in tomorrow's video, pal. So you'll have to watch that. But let me know in the comments section down below. What do you think about this patent? Do you think this will end up being anything? Do you think Nintendo will do something different with the Nintendo Switch Online where you don't need a damn smartphone next to you, wasting your smartphone battery just to talk to someone in a game that you paid $60+ for? Because I hope that that's the case. And as always, guys, thank you for checking out this video. If you are new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Be sure to like, comment, share, hit the bell as well. And as always, I'll catch you guys on the next video. Later.